Hi, welcome to PDQ Live. Today we're going to talk Connect, right?
We're going to talk
All things Connect.
Yeah.
But specifically, what? Scanners? Filters?
Yeah. We'll get into, we'll start from the very beginning.
Okay.
We'll start from maybe some inviting another user, basic package, and then we're going to spend the most of our time in custom scanners.
Can we
Both
do
file and
some
registry.
roles, though? Some
Oh,
roles for our
yeah. When we
users?
get to users, let's talk about some roles too.
But
Okay.
first,
But first, do we have new? What do we have new? Packages?
well, it's Package Wednesday,
Yay!
but today's Thursday. I don't get
that's
it.
okay.
You see, so we have Patch Tuesday,
Yeah.
and then on Wednesday, new packages come out here at PDQ. And guess what? We have this gentleman to thank. Chad, the librarian. He is remarkable. He does a lot of work, and he gets these new packages. As a matter of fact, there are 9 new packages. Count them.
Wow.
9.
Wow.
And I think that's a bit of a stretch because some they're install and then uninstall, but they do count as separate packages, right? So you got the Power BI install, uninstall, Power Automate Desktop, and uninstall. Remote NG, I'll be honest, I have no idea what that is. Do you, Josh? Do you know what that one is?
It is an open source tab multi-protocol remote connection manager for Windows.
Thank you for reading.
Good reading, Josh.
I did it.
Uninstall Remote NG, uninstall Thunderbird, and we have a reboot silent and a reboot user notify, which is actually really, really cool, and some additional changes in the package library. There's a lot of words right there. Nerd, blah, 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 which means the majority of the customers are interested in a combination of 32-bit and 64-bit packages as opposed to separate 32 and 64-bit packages. And additionally, with more and more remote workers, majority of the customers are now wanting applications to automatically update. So when possible, we are enabling automatic updates in applications, and you'll begin to see this change going forward with the new version of applications are released. So there you go.
There's
That
not
is
not enough emojis in that paragraph.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. I should break those up with things other than words.
It's just a lot of words.
Okay, there you go. Back to your normally scheduled programming.
Chad's been busy.
Chad's been very, very busy, it appears.
All right, so Connect. Where are we going to start?
All right. How about we start? Let's set this up. Let's pretend that this is brand new. Mm-hmm. I've got in here, and now I want to invite my friend. I want to invite my friend Tara.
Or how about your coworker? Maybe let's not just invite friends.
All right. I'll invite
Okay.
you can invite your friends too. I'm
Okay.
not going to stop you.
Okay.
So let's invite Tara. So here from
Okay.
the console, we're going to come down here, and we're going to go to our little settings wheel, and we're first going to get dumped here.
Okay.
Into the Teammates tab, and we're going to invite Tara.
Okay.
Tara, I'll let you type that email address.
What's my email address?
I don't know, the one that you set up.
Okay, I am the stalker of Discord. That's my name.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Isn't that fitting?
Yeah, all right. So we'll invite the stalker of Discord to our Connect instance.
Oh, I typed it wrong though, Josh. I can't see.
Well, let's do it again.
I feel like my eyes are gonna pop out of my
it's the
head.
stalker of Discord at Gmail.
Do you think that's a good email address for me though?
Yeah.
I feel like it was appropriate.
All right. So when this happens, two things are going to happen. One of them you're going to see in a second.
Okay.
The other one is happening in the background, and we just want to make everybody aware of it, that it's happening. The first thing that's going to happen here is, hey, we have been invited. All right. So this is what your friend's going to get on their end. They're going to click this accept invite button. They're going to run through, and then they're going to get dumped in. The thing that you don't see is what's happening here at portal.pdq.com.
Okay, so let's clarify. We're in two different places. First, I was on my Connect. Now I'm in portal.pdq.com.
Yes.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
And you see, we've got our mistyped one and the real one here, right? And these are pending. I'm going to go ahead and cancel these
Let's get
just
rid of that
because,
one. Okay.
I don't remember which one was typed right. So here, you're going to get invited into both. Now, to make an invite here in PDQ Connect, you need to have the admin role, the built-in admin role here, and the admin role in Portal to send those invites out.
Okay.
If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to send invites, and then you're going to get in trouble. Like, it's not going to work.
I have to be an admin in here. I can't be a member. Okay.
Yeah. The kind of the happy path here is what you're going to want to do is you maybe want to just invite somebody into the portal first.
Okay.
Make sure they get invited and then pop them into Connect too.
Gotcha.
Right. You can
Okay.
just avoid, kind of some crossed wires of, wait, which invite do I accept? Am I doing one or the other? So if you start there first, you'll get through this a lot easier.
So watch the flow.
Yeah. Like we said, you need certain roles and permissions to be able to send an invite.
And my system roles are member and admin.
Those
right?
those are the ones that are in here by default.
Built in.
And if
Okay.
you come down to the roles tab,
Yep.
you'll see that the type here is PDQ or custom. Anything that's in here that says PDQ is something that the PDQ is providing out of the box.
What if I want to make one, like I just decide what they have access to?
Yeah, you can create your own roles here, right?
Okay.
Custom role 2. I'm real creative.
Okay, you are. You really are.
You can come in here and you can manage individual things that you want these roles to be able to do inside of Connect.
I just want them to break like half of it, but not all of it, Josh.
Yeah. So
Just-
maybe
just
like
half.
it's an IAM only role, and you only want this person to be able to come in here and only add other people. That's here on this manage roles and maybe invite teammates. And then you could say this is like an IAM admin. You don't want them to be able to take actions, but you want to be able to manage that.
What does that mean?
Identity and access management.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So this is maybe you have someone in your group that's not directly responsible for deploying or running commands,
Okay.
but they're responsible for making sure that people land in the software they're supposed to be in, and they can only do the things that they need to.
Okay. No, I noticed some of them controlled other buttons. So.
Yeah, some of them have
Okay.
dependencies
Okay,
when you're in there.
okay.
Like you turn one on, you have to have the other one. You can't. There's not a logical path for you to be able to do everything.
So pay attention when you're turning these on. And can I make multiple roles?
Yeah.
I can make as many as I want.
I'm sure there's an upper limit somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but I doubt you're going to hit it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so that's how we can get new users into Connect and how you can get people into their specific roles.
Can I point something out because I'm OCD? Can we go back to app.portal, the app one?
Yeah,
No, this is just because I'm crazy. You see how it says not defined? That the user has to fill that out.
yeah,
So
they do.
this would drive me crazy in my environment.
Yeah, even as an owner, you can't set this for other people.
I hate that. I would tell my user to fill that out.
Well, I mean, it's all keyed off the UPN of the user anyway, but you do you.
That's just for me.
Okay.
That's just my preference. So anyway, just when you send your invite, either fill it out or tell the user fill out their first name.
Yes.
If you're like me and you want that all to be complete.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah, okay.
that bothers me. Okay.
Alrighty, so we're going to get rid of these 2 tabs here. We're done with the user access. Now we've got friends in here. Maybe your new friend doesn't know how to build a package in Connect, so we're going to build one. We're going to build one very quickly just to show everybody how easy this is. And we're going to build the same package that we usually build all the time, but it goes the same. So we're going to install 7-zip
Okay.
because, again, I'm very, very creative.
You really are. Well, 7-zip is pretty easy, right? So
So we're going to install 7-zip for Josh. We're going to give it a name, and we're going to add an install step.
Okay.
And this is really easy, right? All we really need to do here is find our install file and add it. It's
just
going to get
went and found
uploaded
it.
in the background. So here it is. Here's our 7-zip executable. And for anyone who's new to packaging or deploying software, these parameters are like the answer. Like, when you open an executable and you get that window and it's like, click next, install all these options. This parameters line is filling that out, passing it to the executable for you. You have to do this to deploy software silently. Otherwise, what happens is it just kind of pops up in the background and then no one's there to click next. And your deployment will eventually time out and you're like, but I deployed it and I don't see it.
yeah.
Well, it just sat there waiting for input.
And you don't want to bother the user. So let's make it be silent.
Yeah, so we're going to make it be silent. I know for a fact that 7-zip is a /s
Okay.
here. That's not going to be the same for every software. Time to dust out those Google skills and say, hey, I've got this software name, silent install. There's usually a knowledge base article.
Okay.
Here we've got, success codes. Some of them return different. It's going to be in that same KB. And then depending on how fast you want or what you want it to run as, you can run it as local system or logged on user. Maybe you have to get into that user context for something. If you do. If you don't, probably want to just keep these the same.
Okay.
And then we want it to stop if there's an error on this step, right? Because maybe I could add another step. I could add a file copy. So I only want it to go on to the next step if there's an error. Like you can do some if this, then that type behaviors here.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
There's our package.
So pretty easy.
That's it. I'm going to cancel it because I think I've got like 13 7-zip installers here.
Okay.
Okay. I think we've now run through like the bare bones. I can get people in here. I can deploy. Now let's get to what we actually wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
And that really is scanners.
Scanners.
Scanners are cool.
Okay.
So scanners allow you to gather information about files or registry information on a device that is not scanned by default, by these default scanners.
Okay.
So to get to them, we can come in here and we can build a new one. We're going to start off with a file scanner.
Okay.
All right. So the file scanner we're going to get all of the executables in C Windows System 32.
Okay.
All right. So EXEs in System 32. And we're going to call it a file and or folder scanner.
Because we're looking in file and folders.
Because we're looking at files and folders.
Okay.
Right. So the way that this works is a lot like I'm going to use a really bad metaphor here. And it's like I'm going to ask you to go find a book that's in a room. Right? So I need to give you some information about where this book might be. So this search is the equivalent of me saying, hey, I want you to go to the room on the 3rd floor. And in that room, there's this book. And that's what you're going to get. So the room that we're going to talk about here is in C Windows System 32.
But now again, I'm just going to say, pretend I'm not you. I can just go copy that.
Yeah, of course.
If I don't remember it, I
Right,
just
if
go
you don't
copy it.
remember this
Okay.
exact path, right? Like maybe you open up File Explorer here, and you go in there and you
Just
copy
copy
out,
it, yeah.
and you paste it in here, right?
And I'm guessing you want to be kind of broad with this search, this one. Are we going to be broad here or
It
no?
depends,
Okay.
right? Like the thing with the file scanners, and the reason I'm doing this one here is we're going to truncate it, any results to 1,000 rows.
Okay. That's
So-
the limit?
That's the limit
Okay.
per scanner. There's a couple reasons for that. Let's say that I said, return me all executables in C. And I did that for 1,000 computers. That's going to be hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rows, and it's probably not going to be useful data.
It's too much.
And it's like it's a self-defense. It's like preservation. We're going to keep you from shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So I now told you the room to go in.
Yeah.
It's in C Windows System 32. The book that I want, is a file, and it contains exe. Okay, so we have a bunch of different operators here. We can do contains, does not contain. We can exclude stuff. We can say equals. Equals is kind of one of those ones that you really need to be very, very, very precise.
Because
Because it's equals. Like it's an operator that says it is exactly this, or does not equal is exactly this. Then you got all these other fuzzy matches of starts with, doesn't start, ends with. In our case, we're just going to do contains. So we're going to save and scan.
Oh, we already made one. Change the name. Josh. This is Josh's.
This is Josh's. All right. So in that box, what that box is now telling us is the scan that you just made, it's going to go run on all of your devices.
Okay.
So this is the behavior for all scanners that you create. Every time a device is scanned, it runs everything that this scanner has defined.
Okay.
So let's go see if we're actually getting data here.
So now we've left that. We're going to the actual computer.
Yep,
and you're
I'm going to
go
find
down.
a individual computer since it's already running on all of them. I'm going to pick on Fruit Loops today, and I'm going to ask Fruit Loops, all right, what do you have? And you can see
File and folders.
that
there it
we've
is.
returned it. And now we've returned it twice because remember how I just had that scanner that was the
Yep,
same
two.
thing? And I can see which scanner is returning it.
Yeah.
And now I have 1 to 1,000, or 1 to 1, showing 1 to 1,000 of 2,000
Because we have
results.
two scanners.
I had two scanners that were going to return more than 1,000 results, and they got truncated.
Yeah.
So now I have 2,000 showing the same data.
So I see .exe.mui. So
Remember, I did a contains.
yeah.
So these both meet that criteria. Even if it didn't end in, like the file extension wasn't .exe, if it had exe in the file name, then it would also match.
So if we changed it to equals, those would drop off.
Those would drop off, and it would only show me a file that was exactly exe. And these would probably return then 0 results.
So we're just going to be careful with those triggers, those values.
Yep.
Okay.
Be careful with these values. You can end up returning a ton of very useless data to yourself. The more precise you can be, the better off you're going to be, because then you can return something very specific.
Okay.
So maybe we can go highlight that in a registry scanner now.
Okay. Well, when we were working on this, you said something that was really interesting to me that I think I want to mention because I think it was helpful, because you were just like, blah, 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 my computer. And then you said, this makes sense to my mind because this is SQL. And you said, once you get used to SQL, it all makes sense. And I was like, okay, explain.
Yeah.
But can you talk about that just a little bit in a way that you can view this that makes sense to maybe everyone?
Yeah. So I'm going to bring up maybe it'll be helpful to have the registry editor side by side here.
Yeah. And can you talk about the two places that it's looking? Because I think that's helpful.
Yeah.
Because I think that is confusing to some people.
Let's back up and talk about a SQL operator.
Okay, let's do.
So we're going to say, show me all files in that. This up here, this search is the in.
Yeah.
So in this path, in this location here, and then it's a where.
Yeah.
And then that's down here in this return. So show me all files in this room where they meet this criteria.
Okay.
So in our really bad library example, I guess the library's on my mind because of Chad, our librarian.
Yeah.
Go to this library room and return me all of the results, all of the books that are purple. That's exactly what we're doing here, right? So in this case, we're looking for hibernation enabled in the registry. So the registry, unlike the file system, has a Dewey Decimal System.
Okay.
I'm just rolling with this. I'm going with it.
Do it. I like these analogies. It's good.
It's very structured data.
Yeah.
Right. And we have two hives here that we're going to search. We have local machine and or HKey users.
And that's different from local user. So that's important to know the difference.
That is different from HKey current user.
Current user, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
So HKey current user is the user hive for the user that is logged in at that exact moment.
And we can't touch that because it's in use. So
it's in use, and it's also, remember, we're running a system, and system is one of those weird users that's a user but not really a user in Windows.
Okay.
But you can get to it in a roundabout way.
Okay.
Right. So if we can actually get to HKey users, right, you can then see the users that have been on the machine just based off of their security identifier. I did that instead of calling it a SID.
I know you did.
So you didn't get mad at me.
Yay! Okay, security
you can look
identifier.
at their security identifier. So you could get into here if you wanted by switching this from local machine to HKey users and then SID and returning results.
But for now, we're going to stay away from that. Okay.
We're gonna live in local machine.
Okay. Gotcha.
So we're saying, hey, go to HKey local machine in the path, system, current control set, control, and then power. We're going to watch me scroll because
I kind of like this though, because you can really just trace down where you're trying to go. And this makes sense for me as someone who's more visual. I can just really look where I'm going. It would be easier for me to get my filters correct.
Yeah, there's this visual component to this. And then you can also cheat by copy paste.
Yes, I like that even better.
Right? Maybe I will copy here from system current control set power.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, hey, go here.
Yeah.
And then what I want you to actually return is the value where equals hibernate enabled.
Yeah, and so make sure in the string, don't forget that bottom part. That's important.
Yeah, because remember, we're saying go look here and return this data.
Okay.
So this one we've already built. So we're going to have machines that match this criteria.
Did you show the value, though, the numbers? I think we skipped that part.
I'll show it here on this machine.
Okay, you show it. Okay.
We're going to go back to Fruit Loops.
Okay.
And this time we're going to look at it from the registry perspective.
Okay.
So this, in contrast to our file scanner that returned thousands of results that we truncated to 1,000, we returned the exact thing that we were looking for.
Okay.
this is what we should be aiming for when we're doing file and registry scanners. Let's get the data we need and only have to cast a wide net if we absolutely have to.
Okay.
And here we see that we returned this value for Fruit Loops of being the hex value of 1.
Okay.
So there we did it.
Yeah.
This is really only helpful if, in my opinion, like we have this data, but now I want to do something with it.
You know what I'm going to ask, right?
Yeah.
I want to change that value.
You either want to change it, but let's see how many machines actually meet our criteria.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to leave this tab. I'm actually going to duplicate this tab for a shortcut.
Oh my gosh, are we going to make a dynamic group? Let's do it. Let's do it, please.
We
Let's
are
do
going
it.
to make a dynamic group.
Okay.
We're going to see all of the machines that actually meet our criteria.
So we're going to say
together.
this is a value that we don't like and we want to change it somehow. So we're going to make a dynamic group and find all the
Yeah.
machines and then change the value to something that we do want.
I mean,
right?
yeah, you only ever go
theory.
hunting for something
Yeah,
if
okay.
you want to change it.
Okay.
Or you need to know so you can make changes on things that don't
Yeah.
meet the criteria.
Got it.
So machines, hibernate equals 0. And this is a dynamic group. So this is one that is based off of criteria. It's not just static, like show me a list of these computers.
Yeah.
So where in the registry, let's say that the name equals,
Hibernate enabled, and you said that case sensitivity
Yeah.
matters here.
remember
so,
we're using equals.
Yeah.
So this is a strict operator.
yeah. So capital H,
Hibernate enabled.
capital
Right?
E enabled, yep.
Yep.
And then registry value, don't you
So
need to add another?
the other thing we could do
is copy.
is we could copy paste.
Yes, okay.
I'm going to copy paste.
Okay.
Right. And
And we need another
the other
one.
thing where the registry value data equals, we're going to do another equals. We're going to do a strict operator.
Let's copy. We have to copy this one. That's too much.
Yep.
Too many zeros.
It's too many zeros, and I will mess that up
Yeah.
for sure. Equals this.
Okay.
And I'm going to change this to actually
The value.
equals 1
Oh, 1. Okay.
because we're looking for 1.
Okay.
All right. There's only one machine that meets that criteria, and that's our friend Fruit Loops.
Because we changed it.
I planned this. And
I know, it
tested
almost is. It almost is. Okay.
Right. So now we have Fruit Loops, and Fruit Loops, based out of all of our other devices that are in here, is the outlier. Fruit Loops is the one that's kind of silly. We need to change it. Since I only have one outlier here, I'm not going to waste my time, and I'm not going to build a package.
Okay.
Because that takes a long time to do something that I probably only need to do once. So I'm going to use this thing here, and this is going to be our commands feature. So you can see earlier this morning, Andrew was in here and he changed it.
Go,
right?
Andrew. Go, Andrew.
He changed it already to a set value of 1. And notice that his commands are in here, and I'm going to change it back to
2 0.
0.
Okay.
Right? And now on Fruit Loops, it's going to go back the other way.
Okay.
But this time it shows that Tara did it.
I totally did it. I wrote
Oh,
this.
we're logged in as you.
Oh my gosh, yes,
Right?
I did it.
So you'll notice, like, as you run these commands against these computers, you're going to see this audit trail of who done it.
Yeah.
And then this is like a quick way to execute changes without having to build a package and go through everything and all the steps of a deployment.
Okay.
So if we come back to our friend Fruit Loops here, and we tell it to quickly scan again, right? And we come back down to the registry, after this thing scans, we're going to see that this value is going to go back. He's going to fall out of our collection,
Yeah.
and we're going to be back into a state that we want to be in.
Did you notice that JJ didn't even notice that you changed the name?
The name of what? Oh, the name of Fruit Loops?
Fruit Loops, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm
that
impressed. I'm impressed.
we did it. We did it.
So that would be a good use of using this functionality and why you might use it and how you can go change the value should you want to.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so we talked about file scanners, we talked about registry scanners, and then we talked about how to quickly change based off of those results.
Love it.
So
It looks like there's kind of some questions, Kelly.
We have questions.
Should we get the questions? What do you think?
I think that would be a wise choice.
let's do it.
All right, questions. Here we go. If you have multiple companies, workspaces, and sites set up separately, separate installer for each, can you set up filters and scanners that report on multiple, or is it unique to that site? Just Rob.
Ooh, they are unique. I think, Tara, do you have access? Tara here has access to a couple different organizations inside of PDQ. And when you build something in these organizations, they're here for this organization. I think kind of your best bet here is to do what I did with Fruit Loops of a duplicate tab and then a quick copy paste between the two and rebuild those.
Okay. More questions? Here we go. Is there a role that will only let them scan a system? We need help desk to scan after a rename to get updated.
Well, let's
CM.
take a look. Can we make a role?
Let's take a look. I am not super familiar with all of the options. All right,
It was
so
down below.
deploy, no, manage. Nope, it looks like we're manage, run commands. Nope, there is not a scan only role.
But I bet Marcel's listening. He could probably reach out to them and ask
But
for one.
if there's not but there's probably some other things. Because the way that Connect works and it's constantly scanning things, you probably can take away the deploy, the build, and all these other roles, and by process of elimination, end up with the inverse positive of what you're looking for. And so people can still get in here and consume these reports or scan what they're actually looking for.
Okay.
All right. More questions?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Here we go. In my portal, I see my DNI, but not my Smart Deploy or my PDQ Connect. Can I get them all to show up in the portal? Sincerely, just Rob.
Let's see.
Oh, are you talking? I think Rob's talking about.
Yeah, portal.pdq.
All right, let's get here.
That kind of.
So is this what you're talking about, Rob? I'm gonna guess here.
Yeah.
That you've got some disjointed going on. If this is disjointed, you're going to want to reach out to sales at pdq.com and give them they'll ask you for the details from here, and we could probably collapse that down for you.
We'll get it fixed.
Yep.
All right, we do have a couple more questions.
Let's get them.
Okay. Are there plans to mirror more of the default collection groups from inventory into Connect? Sincerely, Jake.
So Connect has a roadmap. It's a public roadmap that's out there. You can go and you can browse it, and we love the feedback. If there's something specific from inventory, because it's really hard to say make it exactly the same because they're not the same product.
No.
If there's some functionality or a job to be done, or I wish I could do this and I can't accomplish that, that type of feedback really helps drive that roadmap and helps us build better features.
Okay, we have one more question if you'd like it. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Can you use variables to search in a downloads folder along with the lines of C user, blah, blah, nerd, downloads? Sincerely, Dave B.
Yes. Yes, you can use wildcards. I'll give that example we can probably do directly. So if we build this custom scanner, and we're going to say it's files in all users, downloads. File and folder. The path we want is C. Oh boy, I'm gonna mess this up if I don't, because I'm not gonna remember off the top of my head. C users. All right, it is just C users. Wildcard. Downloads. We want the subfolders there. We want all files that are all. This is going to return the following. We're going to say, hey, go to C users, that first directory, and this wildcard of an asterisk is going to say everything in there. And then the next one down is downloads. And then since we're doing search subfolders, it's actually everything one more layer deep. So to show that, it would be like going to, here we're in C users, we're wildcarding all of these. And then we're diving down into their downloads. And then if there are any folders here, we're going to dive into those as well and return all of the folders.
Okay.
Right? So if we do save and scan, it's going to go scan all those devices. We're going to return all of those. that are in there. Okay. I think that's it for all the questions. Everyone, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it. Hopefully this is helpful with scanners and filters in Connect. For PDQ, I'm Josh.
I'm Tara.
And they're both really cool people. I just had to say that. Thanks for joining our webcast today. Big congratulations going out to Just Rob and CM, winners of PDQ swag. Please send us your mailing info at webcast@pdq.com. Also, do us a favor, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and join us on Discord. We always have an after party on Discord right after the webcast, so we will see you there. Have a great week. We'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.